her position in any way. And also, 9A, I would like to add the Richmond trip that I was told to add, that's gonna have to be approved, who's going, so that they can hit the routes. Also, I need an approval, is anyone else got anything to add to the agenda? If not, I need an approval to accept the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion with the addition.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
What is the purpose of the witness advisory addition to the agenda?
I will tell you when I get there. It's not to discuss her position at all. Okay? Not her performance, I would say that, okay?
Well, I'm just not prepared to talk about anything about it, but I'll vote no. You've got a motion in a second before you.
Mrs. Celeste, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Tyson?
Yes.
And Mr. Peters?
Yes.
And I also. So the agenda is approved. The next thing on the agenda is to adopt the Robert's Rule of Order. Do I have a motion to approve the Robert's Rule of Order as our official guidelines?
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt Robert's Rules of Order for the purposes of this meeting.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Actually, the Robert's rules should be adopted for all.
It's all meetings, not just this meeting. Great. You wanna change your motion to?
I don't, so.
Well, do I need to rescind my, can I rescind my?
Yes.
second? I'll rescind my second.
I'll second.
Okay, the approval of the Robert's Rule of Order for all meetings, correct?
No,
No, for
that-
this meeting.
Okay, then you're gonna have to approve them again for all meetings, correct?
Well, that adopts another rules of parliamentary procedure.
That's what we intend to do, what I intend to offer before our next order, before our next regular meeting. So my motion is on the floor that we adopt Robert's Rules of Order for the purposes of this meeting. And it's been seconded.
On this meeting, and do we have a second?
I'll second
Okay.
it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve them for tonight's meeting only. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Evans
Yes.
and Ms. Leslie?
Yes.
And Mr.
No.
And mine's no also. We've always gone by the Robert's Rule of Order to conduct business. Now, open the floor for nomination for chair, and I'd like to nominate Mr. Ron Peters as chair for 2020. Is there another nomination?
I'll make another nomination, but I'm not seconding.
We don't have to second the nomination.
I'll nominate Josh Evans as chair.
Okay, is there any other nominations? I need a motion that the nomination cease.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Second.
Moving a second. All in favor of these two nominees, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have to vote on the first one, which is Mr. Peters first. So, right now, we're going to make a motion, or vote on Mr. Peters first for chair. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
No.
You vote no for Mr. Peters? Yes. Correct. Ms. Celeste, how do you vote?
No.
And Mr. Evans, how do you vote?
No.
And I will vote yes for Mr. Peters. And then we'll vote for Mr. Evans as chairman of the board. Ms. Kaiser,
Yes.
Ms. Celeste,
Yes.
and Mr. Evans.
Yes.
And Mr. Peters.
No.
And mine's no also. Okay, I'll turn it over to Mr. Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Shelby Willis, Thank you, members of the board. I now open the nominations for election of vice chairman for 2020. Do I hear any motions for vice chairman for 2020?
I'll make a motion for Shelby Willis.
Have a motion for Shelby Willis. Do I hear any other motions for vice chairman for 2020?
I'll make a motion. So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for Peggy Kaiser.
We have before the board a motion for Ms. Shelby Willis to be vice chairman for 2020, and also a motion for Ms. Kaiser, Peggy Kaiser, to be vice chairman for
And
2020.
you need to ask for a second for my motion for that.
Yes, sir. Do I hear a second for Ms. Willis's motion, or excuse me, Mr. Peters' motion?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second for Ms. Peters to be vice chairman for 2020. Do I hear a second?
Well, it was for Miss Willis.
I'm sorry, for Ms. Willis to be vice chairman for 2020. And I will second Ms. Sluss's motion for Ms. Kaiser to be vice chairman for
No,
2020.
you gotta vote first.
All right, we'll vote on Mr. Peters' motion and Mr. Willis' second for Ms. Willis to be vice chairman. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
And I'm not a mister.
Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
No.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Ms. Willis?
Yes.
Ms. Sluss?
No.
No as well for me, so the motion fails. And I have a motion and a second for Ms. Kaiser to serve as vice chairman for 2020. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
No.
Mrs. Willis?
No.
Mrs. Sluss?
Yes, sir.
Yes, for me as well. So, Ms. Kaiser, you will be the vice chairman for 2020 for this Dickinson County Board of Supervisors. Now I'll move to item 6, the election of a clerk of the Board of Supervisors. I now open the floor for motions for a clerk for the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors for 2020.
I'll make a motion that it be Miss Teresa Law.
So motion for Ms. Lyle to be,
I'll second it.
and a second by Mr. Peters. Do I hear a motion to stop nominations for clerk?
So moved.
Is there a second to cease nominations for
I
clerk?
second it.
Nominations will cease. We'll now vote on clerk of the board for 2020. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Peters, I'm sorry. How do you
Yes.
vote? Ms. Willis, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Sluss?
Yes.
I as well. Now, item 7, we'll open the floor for motions for the appointment of a county administrator for the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors for 2020.
I'll make a motion that we keep David Moore.
I second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. So your motion is second just to keep Mr. Moore, or is that your motion?
That was our
To
motion.
keep him?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to keep David Moore as county administrator with no other parameters or no other, ties. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
Can I add a comment to my vote?
Yeah, we can discuss it, absolutely.
I voted yes, but with the thought of disagreeing with the content of the contract.
But the motion before the board, Ms. Kaiser, is that we just keep David Moore. That's the motion, that's how it was phrased. If that motion fails, there can be a subsequent motion made. An alternative motion with alternative phrasing. But the motion before us is that particular motion, so what is your vote on the motion to keep David Moore? Or your vote, I'm sorry, what's your vote?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to.
Yes, sir.
clarify this. From, I guess, your comments, Mr. Moore is under contract right now currently, so if it's the board's intention to go forward as if this motion by Ms. Willis is not including his contract, then the board would have to either rescind or terminate his contract.
Well, I thank you, and that's right, Mr. Moore, we do, that's why I was wanting to be clear on the content of the motion Mr. Peters made. So we're under Mr. Peters' motion. He can either amend it or we can vote on the motion. That's up to.
I don't intend on amending it. My motion was to keep David Moore.
I second the motion to keep David Moore. I know what he's done. I know where he's brought us from. I've been here since 2008, and I know what a good job he's done.
All right, now I guess I'm gonna call a vote. There's a motion in the second before this body, so we need to call a vote. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote on this motion in this second?
I guess yes. how else to, okay.
Ms. Kaiser's yes, Mr. Peters, I assume yes.
Yes.
Ms. Willis, yes.
Yes.
Ms. Sluss?
I vote yes, but I'm like Peggy, I do have I can't add anything to it. Mr. McMullen?
Well, discussion has been closed.
The discussion's closed.
Okay, I'll vote to keep this back board.
I vote yes as well. And moving on to number 9, we, need to set our regular monthly meeting dates
You
for the
missed
year.
number 8.
I'm sorry, number 8. I apologize, thank you, Ms. Willis. I open the floor for nominations for appointment of a county attorney for the Dickinson County Board of Supervisors. for
I'm not-
2020.
I make a motion that we.
I think Ms. Sluss was speaking before you, Ms. Willis.
I make a motion that we appoint Susan Woods, who is a resident of Backbone Ridge, a graduate of Appalachian Law, graduated top in her class, clerked for Judge Henry Vanover for a year, had personal contact with her when she worked for DSS under the foster care, helped my daughter, my sister adopt a child, so I make a motion that we retain Susan Woods.
So we got a motion, do we have a second?
Do we have a second? Thank you, Mr. Peters.
Okay,
Appreciate
have
it.
discussion then,
If
We don't have a second,
but
let's
we don't have a
open the-
second.
okay, that's what I was asking.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and second for Susan Wood.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Peters,
I guess I kinda would like to understand why we're changing all of a sudden. And I wanna be clear with you, tell the public why. Because I do know that a couple individuals made campaign promises to this effect, that they were gonna change this attorney out. And I guess I'm a little puzzled that someone could, for $150 in pens, or whatever help they got in their campaign, they could come up with an agreement that they basically would say, this person came to them and wanted their support to put themselves or someone from their law firm on as our county attorney, with a price tag attached, hire me. There's
Who are
something
you
wrong.
talking to, Mr. Peters? Who are you talking to?
Who accepted some money
You've told several people about it, Miss.
that I got money from the law firm?
No, that you got help from Baker Law Firm.
I have talked with Mr.
And that's
Baker,
why
I
we're hiring
received no,
someone from
you,
that law firm.
I think your insinuation is very poor to me.
There are
I
witnesses.
received
that-
no monetary whatsoever
I
from
didn't
Mr.
say it was
Baker.
necessarily monetary. I said,
I have
clearly
talked
said
to,
you got
I
help.
have talked to many people, including you, and many other lawyers. And for you to insinuate that I took some money is.
I did not say money.
Yes, you did.
The
You
money
did
for the
have to
pen was
insinuate
the other
that.
members.
Yes, you did insinuate that, sir.
No, I said
And
you got
also
help
gave
or
them-
money.
Yes, sir, you did. Then the last board meeting, you gave me a lecture.
So
And
what
I-
are you insinuating, Mr. Peters?
Well, a campaign promise was made.
By who
By
to
who?
who?
I did not
I
make
made
no
no
promise.
promise. I made no
I
promise.
made no promise.
There's witnesses to this, ladies.
Well, let's see them.
I'm gonna say this. I did not take any money from Baker Law Firm. I was offered, but I did not take any money. Now, this is a discussion. I did not take any money from any law firm. And I was offered, but I refused. I do not wanna be attached to anybody. I wanna make my own decisions myself. I don't want to be obligated to nobody. Stephen has done absolutely nothing wrong except advise us when we do something wrong. He advises.
I didn't say Stephen had done anything wrong. I ran a campaign on change, and change is what we need to see.
I don't think people wanting change to see people fired and lose their jobs.
He's not being fired, he's being replaced.
He's being fired.
And I'll tell you how I'm gonna vote, and I'm gonna support the motion, and I'll tell you why. It was very insulting to the 3 new members and the people that elected them for change for this county, and for you all after November the 5th to do a backroom deal contract, basically rear-ending us before we even had to have the opportunity to take office and take account of anything that's going on in the county. And what it was told to us by the county administrator is that contract was drafted and given to him by our county attorney. That's an improper unilateral action by council, and that's what the county administrator said. It said he didn't have any council to help him draft it. The county attorney drafted it, and it was done for no reason but to undermine us.
At our request.
And that's a
At our
fireable
request.
action. And so I'm gonna end the discussion now.
Well, wait.
No, you
No,
can't.
you just said something
I
now.
would like to say that the former chairman asked me to draft that contract,
Yeah.
so I didn't.
And
It
the
was,
thing
it
is-
was asked
I was
by the
asked for
board, correct.
The
Well, I
thing
don't-
is, it was kinda
Say
really,
otherwise is untrue.
you know, I spent 30 years in the military, and some of the things that I seen, you know, you had knowledge of things that we were gonna do, and you didn't tell people what you were gonna do before the D-Day attack. These guys have been advertising these moves and telling people about it even before the election happened. And that's what's appalling, they couldn't even do it right. But then they go and,
So it's appalling to be transparent with the public, Mr. Peters? That's
no,
what
I
you're
didn't
saying?
say that.
So it's better to keep secrets, that's what you're saying?
No, but if you're trying to do something underhanded, you guys met
We're
on
not doing
this.
anything
We're not
underhanded,
doing,
Ron.
you just saying we're doing what we told everybody we were gonna do.
Rhonda, we
Yes, it-
met in Mike Yates' office,
Uh-huh.
and you clearly said you had a promise there, that you
I
were
did
trying
not
to keep.
say I had
Yes,
a
you
promise.
did.
No, I did not. And it's very obvious. I keep my promises, Ron, and I do not appreciate the insinuation on my character. And and what you said the last time was very hurtful to me.
Well,
And let me tell you something. I have worked many years with the Code of Virginia. The Code of Virginia says in 15.2.406, which I can quote from memory, the county administrator may be removed at the pleasure of this board.
Mhm.
He does not have to have a contract. I have called Wise County, Buchanan County. Now, Wise
But
County
he
has a
does now
contract.
have a
He does have a contract. Buchanan does not have a contract. I have voted yes for David Moore.
I will, for the record, state how
And
this.
I regret, and that is very untrue. I did not promise anybody anything.
Let me explain how the dialogue's been going behind the scenes. It started with a promise to hire Greg Baker as a lawyer.
That's not true.
By who,
It
Mr.
did,
Peters?
and that's what I was approached with.
By who, Mr. Peters?
That by Rhonda, by you,
I
Peggy,
had no promise.
okay, and then it turned into, well, we'll go with Susan Woods. And then the next day, in Mike Yates' office, it was, well, I don't want Susan Woods, and that was you, Rhonda. I don't want Susan Woods because she's too quiet like Stephen is.
I said,
And then
"She
the
is
day
quiet."
after that, it was,
I made no promises.
I tell people when I was campaigning that I would make no promise to them for nothing. I wouldn't even make a promise if I had 2 other board members by my side, because we had no guarantee that any 3 of us would be elected. I made no promise.
At this point, I want to end discussion on the county attorney item 8. Have a motion and a second before this board to hire Susan Wood, who's affiliated with the Greg Baker Law Firm. Do I hear, or I'm gonna ask Ms. Kaiser how she votes.
Yes.
Mr. Peters,
no,
Ms. Willis,
No,
Ms. Sluss,
Yes.
yes for me as well. Go to item 9, setting of a monthly meeting dates for
you
2020.
missed 8A that was approved.
I apologize, 8A, y'all let Ms. Willis have the floor on that, the witness, I think
You
you
know,
termed it advisory.
We have talked about this and we've moved the witness advisory
Are you
upstairs.
talking about the victim witness coordinator?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Witness advisory is not the proper term for that, it's victim witness coordinator.
Well, anyway, that's what I put it on here for, and it's Lisa Skins, and she's the one that fills that position. And we've moved her, and we moved the one before her. And really and truly, I think that position needs to go in the Commonwealth Attorney's office, but I have really, really thought this through. And I think we need to ask Lisa, and my motion is to let Lisa choose to stay where she is or to move to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office and let it be her choice. And that's
What
my
I would-
motion.
Yes, Ms. Willis, I'll hear a second for a motion, then I'll open for discussion.
I'll second it.
I have a second from Mr. Peters. What I would like to do, Ms. Willis, and my suggestion is, of course, I'm not in any way taking away from your motion that you can make, but I would like to have Mr. Newberry and Mr. Fleming, if they would like to come in and let's all discuss this particular position.
We have discussed it with
You have,
Commonwealth attorneys before,
well, you've got,
and I really and truly, I think it needs to go in Commonwealth Attorney's Office, but I think she needs to decide where she wants to
Where's
work.
Josh, what's his opinion?
he wants, the victim witness person belongs in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. I mean, that's where
Let
it
her
belongs.
choose.
I agree with you, Shelby, on that much, but
Well, I will tell you, I don't think you need the sheriff in them.
sure, we can bring
One-
in whoever.
Can I please finish?
Sure.
The sheriff, I think, is agreeable with it going over there. I also believe that the Commonwealth Attorney wants it over there. Shelby just made a suggestion, why don't we see what the person wants? Where do they feel comfortable in doing their job?
Well, I think where you run into problems, and I'm not, Ms. Geen does a wonderful job. Unlike you, Ron, I work with her every day, so I know she does a wonderful job. Problem is, if you run in, say she leaves, and someone's not happy with their boss at the sheriff's office, then they run to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. They're not happy with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, and they run back to the sheriff's office, and you get a problem that occurs. So I think it's best if we were to vote and say it goes under the supervision of the Commonwealth Attorney's
My
Office.
motion is to let Lisa choose
Have a
which
motion and
office she
second
wants
to
to
have her
stay.
choose.
She present? No, she is. Oh, well, I don't know if she is or not.
What is her preference?
Let's ask her.
Well, she
I've
can-
asked her, I know where she wants to go. So
Well,
my,
I think she should be here and tell us, I mean.
no, I think it's her choice. If she's more
So you
comfortable
disagree with-
upstairs, or if she's more comfortable in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, let her decide.
You disagree with tabling this until our next
I do
meeting?
disagree.
And you acknowledge
I
that?
made a motion,
Okay, Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
and we have a second.
I would make the motion, I would vote yes to move her back to the Commonwealth.
That wasn't
Well,
what I
that's not-
I'm
said.
not,
So
then,
you vote no then?
Yeah.
So I have no vote
I
on
don't
this?
understand how you let employees choose where they wanna work.
I agree with Ms. Kaiser. Ms. Kaiser votes no. Mr. Peters?
Yep.
Mr. Ship Willis?
I vote no. I vote yes to move her,
Ms.
to
Sl-
let her choose.
And here's the thing, I wanna clearly state, yes, only because I think it's worth knowing, because
You all haven't dealt
Because
with it
of,
like we
when
have.
she got hired, if you were a part of the program when the last one left, there clearly was a lot of tension and a lot of concern, that's the only reason I wanted to
In all
know.
seriousness, I understand what
Yeah,
you're
that's the only
saying.
reason, and I agree with what you're saying, Peggy, you don't let the employee tell you,
But I really
but
sincerely,
there's a lot of things that happened during that time.
this was not the proper time to do this. We should have done this at our normal meeting. And we need time to discuss it and digest it. It's unfair to us. It's open for a meeting that we've had no time to think about or discuss it with the people that it actually affects. Ms. Skeen's not here, Mr. Newberry's not here. This was not the proper time, and it's unbelievable really that we're having to even waste time on it here.
Ms. Gaines told me she prefers to go back to the Commonwealth, that's where that job is.
So we have a no vote from Ms. Kaiser, a yes vote from Mr. Peters, and a yes vote from Ms. Willis, Mrs.
No,
Sluss,
no vote.
and no for me as well. We can set this on the agenda for January. I think we can find common ground on this, but it's just not the right time.
I do too.
Number 9, setting of the regular monthly meeting dates for 2020.
You have the Richmond trip,
I'm sorry, Shelby, you're right, I apologize. Discussion for 8B, the Richmond trips.
it's something that, Mitzi has to know so she can set aside the rooms.
And I have no idea what we're talking about, or,
It's the Richmond trip to meet with your
Legislators.
legislators.
well, you all know my feelings on that, so.
What dates are those? The 20th?
I think they're
It's
20th.
January
Are they 22nd or
21st,
23rd?
What?
Which days is it this year?
January 21st and 22nd. The reception will be on the 22nd.
I'd just like to have an idea of who you're meeting with, what specifically you're discussing. I mean, if you're just going to tour and have a good time touring around the Capitol, I don't know that that's proper, but if you have a specific agenda a
Always
specific
meet with
committee?
different legislators.
Well, I'll clarify here, we always have a specific agenda, normally we meet with rural development, BSBFA, who does financing for the county, we go on to the Capitol, we meet with our delegates, we meet with all the Southwest Virginia delegates. Typically, we're pulled into other meetings with those folks. I mean, over the years, we take care of tourism, we have DCRs, I mean, all the agencies that we work with as a county are in Richmond.
So what specific meetings are you going to on the 21st?
Actually, I think that those meetings just listed probably would all be included because we always do rural development, BSBFA.
So what are you discussing with
Mr.
rural
Chairman,
development?
may I add to
Trying
this?
to find money.
For what? That's why I just, if you're going up there just to goof around, I mean, but if you have a specific
I
thing.
don't have the intention of going up there and goofing around. I have the intention of going up there and meeting with people that I think can help our citizens in our county. I wanna put a face on
I would
Dixon
encourage
County.
all of you to go.
I think we all need to go, and I don't, and I encourage, in fact, I encourage anybody that can go. I intend, probably I'll pay my own way.
What do we, I'm sorry.
But I think that it is a good thing, and I encourage that we should go, and it's a small amount of money for what return we may get.
What kind of motion does she need, Shelby? Or what do you need to?
Well, you need to decide who's gonna go
Like
for
right
the
here.
Oh,
county.
Miss Senator, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
As IDA chair, we've had a real problem, Josh, in scheduling meetings. Mitzi has about 4 scheduled, but we didn't know who was going, so,
Right, I
you know,
understand.
it's a problem to
So
schedule.
what do you need to know, Miss?
She
Sykes?
just needs to
I
know
need to
who's
know.
going.
We need to know how many's are going so she can get room.
I'm not going.
I plan to go.
Good. And also, if you
I plan
could,
to go.
Rhonda, you and Peggy, if you could help Mitzi some with that reception, there's a lot of, little legwork that has to be done. And in the past, she's always had some assistance.
Oh, let's see, is Rita, or do you plan to go?
Yes, I already have several meetings
Oh,
scheduled with
yeah.
Virginia Tourism, DCR, we're working on the Pound River designation, and we're meeting with, Virginia Economic Development.
Well, I
Partners.
understand she's very well
A
known,
lot.
so maybe she should help us out a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's just, what I'm talking about is it's
So
just
what-
legwork, just try to support
So
Mitzi.
David, we don't need any kind of motions, you just wanted a roll call?
We basically need a head count of who would
So
like
you
to
don't,
attend.
you don't need any sort of official action?
No.
So it's Rhonda, Peggy, and me.
Yep, and we will go ahead, because we have to assign rooms, and that also helps us, because if we're holding meetings with these people, we generally have to tell them how many people to expect for us, and so that's a good help, and if the IDA has X number of representatives, we put those together in a pool with Mitzi, myself, and Rita and her group, and that's basically the county's, a team that goes to Richmond for our calls.
Hearing nothing, I know this is not on the agenda, is there anything further? No, if not, I'll hear a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Do we gotta set?
We're
do
gonna
we
set a date.
You
Oh,
need to-
correct.
Maybe.
Well, do we need to set our regular monthly meeting date for 2020? I hear, open the floor for motions for that.
I make a motion, we keep the 4th Tuesday at 6 P.M.
Fourth Tuesday at 6, I hear a second for that.
I second,
Second by
it's
Ms.
fine
Lewis.
with me.
There- Any
What's
alternative?
the
motion?
4th Tuesday?
I think that one they
So when is that?
That's the same as they have.
It is January 28th, that's fine.
That's good for me too.
You asked if there's any other motions. I would make a motion that we have
On the
a
meeting.
letter.
On the meeting date.
No, not on the meeting date.
Let's take care of that one first.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I'm
So I'll have a
jumping.
motion and a second that our regular monthly meeting date be the 4th Tuesday of each month at 6 P.M. here at the Higher Education Center. Ms. Kaiser, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Peters?
Yes.
Ms. Willis?
Yes.
Ms. Slough?
Yes.
Yes for me as well. And Ron, I just.
Well,
Go ahead. I'll let you-
What I have a motion on is, we've selected a new lawyer now. I would like to see a document drafted, similar to what they did with DSS Social Services, that our new attorney cannot discuss any of our county business with her boss. Her business is our business, vice versa. They have a similar relationship with the DSS board.
Ron, go ahead, go finish. I'm sorry.
She's not allowed to discuss her DSS business with Mr. Baker or anyone else in the law firm.
At this point, I'm going to declare that not a proper motion, it wasn't added to the agenda, we've done past item 8 and past
But
item
a minute
9.
ago, you were trying to have that, you asked for a motion.
No, I asked for discussion, I didn't know if you had.
No,
anything
you
wanted to
asked
say.
for a motion, so we'll wait
All right,
till
well,
next meeting.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to adjourn, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That ends our meeting for January 2nd, 2019.